90 seconds to live. Maria Santos breathed poison gas as 16 alien council members smiled. They'd done this to 50 species before her. All failed. All died alone. But Maria wasn't just a diplomat. She was a war reporter. And her hidden camera was already broadcasting. The toxin tasted like copper and burnt metal. Her throat was already closing. Ambassador Santos. The lead counselor's mandibles clicked. Convince us to spare Earth, or your world becomes a slave colony. Your people will mine asteroids until your star dies. Blood vessels burst in her eyes. 45 seconds left. She thought of Elena's last message. 8 seconds long. Her daughter in Maria's old Columbia hoodie, fighting tears. Be brave, Mom. The same words Maria had whispered to 8-year-old Elena during the First Contact War, when alien ships first appeared over Sao Paulo. When Maria held her husband's hand as he died in the rubble. When she'd promised Elena they'd survive together. Now Elena was leading Earth's defense coordination, and Maria was about to break her promise to come home. Her fingers were going numb. 30 seconds. Honored Council, Maria said, voice steady despite the fire in her lungs. How many species stood where I'm standing? Laughter rippled through the chamber. 51st, the counselor said. Would you like to know how many succeeded? Maria's earpiece crackled. Mission control. Total organ failure in 20 seconds. She already knew the answer. 0. This wasn't a test. It was an execution, a performance to terrify the galaxy into submission. But Maria Santos hadn't been a diplomat first. She'd been a war reporter. She tapped her wrist display. 3 times fast, twice slow. The emergency protocol her team had buried in the software. A counselor noticed. What is she doing? Stop her. Too late. The suit camera shifted modes. Now, it was transmitting live to every relay in the sector. This is Ambassador Maria Santos of Earth, she said, turning to capture every alien face. This is not a trial. This is an execution. Blood ran from her nose, her eyes. They've done this 50 times. They watch us die. Her left hand stopped responding. The toxin was eating through her nervous system. They tell our world we failed. Vision in her right eye went black. She could feel her heart stuttering, trying to pump blood that was turning to sludge. The lead counselor lunged from his throne, realizing too late what she'd done. They're not testing diplomacy. Maria collapsed to one knee, using her last functional arm to keep the camera steady. They're testing fear. She fell forward, blood pooling on pristine floors. I'm not failing. I'm showing you what they are. The transmission reached 40 systems. Then 400. The lead counselor's mandibles trembled. For 2 centuries, they'd controlled the narrative. Ambassadors died in private. Their governments received edited recordings showing diplomatic failures. The council had built an empire on isolated species too terrified to unite. Maria Santos had just connected them all. On Vorlex Prime, Warlord Keth pulled up the archived recording of her own ambassador's death, the one the council had sent her. She played it side by side with Maria's broadcast. The council's version had edited out the poison gas. The laughter, the satisfaction. They lied to us, Keth whispered. They murdered Ambassador Chalk and told us he failed. She pressed a button. Every ship in her fleet powered weapons. Maria's vision went dark. Elena, I kept my promise. She stopped breathing. By the time the council shut down the relays, 4,000 worlds had seen it. The poison gas, the satisfied faces, the casual cruelty. The Sovereign Council had ruled for 2 centuries through fear and carefully staged executions. Maria Santos broke that with 90 seconds and a camera. The Vorlex struck first, then the Centauri Collective, then the Meridian Swarm, then dozens more whose names Earth hadn't learned yet. The war lasted 3 years. The Council fell in 6 months. The rest was hunting down the remnants. Earth never sent another ambassador. They sent a fleet. Admiral Elena Santos stood in the council chamber, now a memorial. Her mother's final transmission playing on eternal loop. She'd been 18 when she watched her mother die alive. The youngest admiral in human history. She grabbed her mother's old camera that day, the one from her war correspondent days. I'm going to finish what you started, 18-year-old Elena had whispered to the empty apartment. 3 years later, she'd kept that promise. This is Admiral Santos to all ships, she said, standing where Maria had collapsed. Secure the station. Protect the memorial. The galaxy had asked Earth for diplomacy. They'd sent their best. The galaxy had murdered her on camera. So Earth answered differently. Elena touched the floor where her mother's blood had pooled. Behind her, the transmission played. I'm showing you what they are. 400 species had united because of those words. Because one woman had chosen truth over survival. Never again, Elena whispered. The galaxy believed her. Because Earth had learned what the Sovereign Council never expected. Diplomacy isn't about being liked. It's about being heard. Maria Santos had spent 90 seconds dying in front of the galaxy. But she'd spent those 90 seconds making sure every species heard the same truth. You can't terrorize people into submission. If they know you're terrorizing everyone else too. The Council had built their empire on isolation. Maria Santos had destroyed it with connection. Sometimes the bravest thing a diplomat can do is make sure the whole galaxy watches her die. And sometimes the smartest thing a daughter can do is make sure they never forget why.